Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are creating a live broadcast of a book cover being created, and we're starting off by designing a fine art composite image. So if you are a photographer, hello and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us here on Cam Robinson Photography. I will be explaining what we are doing as we go, and if you are not a photographer who does not understand Photoshop, I will be using some big words. It's okay. Don't worry about it. If you are an author, thanks so much for joining me. Go ahead, drop yourself a link below, and let me see your books because I want to see what you are working on right now. If you are a photographer, say hey and let me know what you shoot. If you are a book lover, if you happen to be one of my fans from my author brand, I would love to hear from you. Go ahead, say hello, let me know who you are and where you're from in those comments. Today we are going to be creating a Snow Queen book cover. I am incredibly excited. It's going to be really, really good. I think we've pulled some good images today, and we're going to create something really, really fun. And I have a little bit of magic up my sleeve, so we're going to show you something really interesting. I am KM Robinson, for those of you that do not know me, so go ahead and jump down in those comments, say hello to me. And again, if you are a photographer, let me know who you are and what you photograph. If you are an author, let me know who you are and what kind of books you write. In fact, go ahead and give yourself a shout out and drop a link to your books because I want to see. If you are a book fan or someone who just wants to learn a little bit more about Photoshop or about book cover creation, go ahead, drop me a comment below. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and why you are here today. We are going to jump in and start designing really fast, but I do want to let you know we are using Photoshop Creative Cloud today. I am using a Wacom tablet. It's the Intuos Pro Small. So we've got my little pen and we've got my tablet here. We are going to be editing with those today. And we've got some magic up our sleeves, so I'm really excited for this. We're going to go ahead and jump in, and I'm going to screen share. So give me just a second as I switch over to my screen share, and you will have the opportunity to help me pick colors that I use, the images that I use. Well, not so much the images today because I kind of have those picked out already. I'm really excited about this one. You're going to help me pick the title, the tagline, the write-up of the fake book that we are creating. You get to help me decide where I'm going to be placing things and what I'm going to be doing. So I'm really excited to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. I already gave my spiel about dropping in the comments and letting me know who you are, why you're here. So if you are a photographer, let me know what it is that you shoot. We're going to be talking to you today and teaching you some really cool Photoshop things. If you are an author, go ahead and give me a shout out. Let me know who you are and what type of books you write. In fact, go ahead and drop me a link so that I know what you're writing. I can check out your book. And if you happen to be a book fan, or you just want to learn a little more about Photoshop, or you just want to learn a little bit more about what goes into creating a book cover, go ahead and drop me a comment. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and why you're hanging out today. I cannot tell who you are unless you comment, so the more you comment, the better. Keep me company, and let's switch over so we can start designing our Snow Queen book cover. Here we go. All right, so I'm just going to arrange my screen a little bit so that I can see your comments, but also still work with you guys. All right, so here we go. This is our main image that we are using today. This is my Snow Queen. This is actually a self-portrait image that I created like a year ago. We're going to be working with this today, and we're going to be changing up some of this background. That is my beautiful puppy, Jada. I do have 3 puppies, and we are going to be using one of these images that I shot probably a couple of years ago in this image. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my selection tool, and I'm actually just going to grab my Snow Queen here, and I'm going to outline her. And in just a second, I'm going to be putting a layer mask over her. So I'm just getting as much of this as I can, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to refine my selection momentarily. Now, Photoshop is working kind of slow today because I am live broadcasting while I am doing this, and my computer tends not to like that. So just run with me here as we are just a touch on the slow side. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on my layer mask, which will get rid of my background. Well, maybe. It's, again, being a little bit on the slow side. So we're, whoop! And it clicked on some stuff that I didn't want. Thank you, Photoshop. Let me just see if I can. Yep, it's going to be frustrating. So, unfortunately, it grabbed some things that I didn't want. So I'm going to go ahead in here and hit my option button, which actually gives me the opposite. So I'm deleting part of my selection right here, and I'm just grabbing that stuff that I didn't want. You can see the marching ants there kind of tell you where things are. Now I am using that takeaway selection tool. However, if it's taking too long, and obviously it's going to be a rough one today, guys, I do apologize for this. You can grab that lasso tool with your option key held down, and that will get rid of your selection, just like that. And there we go. Okay, now let's try this again. I'm going to go ahead and hit that layer mask, and ta-da! Now that obviously needs to be very refined, but you get the basic idea. So take a look. This is my model in relation to a real-life puppy dog. Now, oftentimes I will not have a real-life live being in the images I'm working with, so you just have to figure out what makes sense. But because I have my puppy dog there, I actually can kind of match that up. So where would I be in relation to this puppy? That's actually not bad. So we're going to go ahead and drop that right in there. And the next step is going to be to refine this just a little bit. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to refine that selection because as you can see, we still have some of the grass in there, which we don't want in there. So I'm going to grab a soft brush and I'm going to make it really small. And I'm actually going to come in here even closer because I want to really be able to see what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to start taking away anything I don't like. Now I am working on a layer mask here, so this is non-destructive. If I accidentally mess something up, I can bring it back. There we go. What's happening here? I'm just taking away anything that I do not like. And I'm working with a black brush because I am on that white layer mask. And I am just removing anything that does not work with what I want. So I'm taking away the grass in the background around the hair. And I'm getting the majority of it here, but I did not get super close because I'm actually going to go back in with a bigger brush. And I'm going to take that away on a lower opacity. Because I still want that hair there. However, I want it to be a little more realistic and blend in a little bit more. So I'm going to lower that opacity and I'm just going to kind of go over that. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to refine that a little bit better later. Now that I've turned my attention away from the hair, I see how creepy the face looks. So let's fix that up a little bit. Because we had some things go away that shouldn't have gone away. Okay, so then we are just going to work around that. And there we go. We're going to come back in and we're going to retouch that momentarily. Caitlin loves my puppy. Thanks, girl. Yeah, she's a sweetie. I actually have 3 puppies. I've got 2 English Springer Spaniels, and that's one of them. And then I've got a Pomeranian. And the English Springer Spaniels are actually sisters. They're biological sisters. Same mom, same dad, 2 different litters. However, to look at them, my Jada always looked really young, and my Lacey looked a lot older than her, even though she was only 6 months older. And people would think they were mother and daughter. But they're not. They're sisters. It was a funny thing. Woo, we had some interesting things happen down here, didn't we? So let's just see what we've got going on here. Let's get back part of that shoe. And as you can see, we've got some hideous grass there. And that's okay, because we're actually going to remove that, but not this second. I'm just going to get rid of some of this grass that's going to be problematic, and then I'm going to come back in a little bit, and I'm going to refine this with my snow. Got some wonky things going on here. Yes, we do. Now, obviously, if she were walking in snow, this would be buried in the snow. So we are going to refine that just a little bit, and we're going to take away some of this, and then I'm going to build up that snow around her. But I'm going to come back to that because I want to clean up this skirt just a little bit. So we have some weird things going on here. And we're just going to refine the edge just a little bit. I'm not super worried about this because I already know what I'm going to be doing over top of this. So I'm actually going to just kind of refine it here, and then I'm going to come back and deal with it more later. Now, as we are doing this, the puppy is not going to be staying in this image. This is going to be moved around, but I wanted to kind of clean up my selection on the model first. So I'm just going around and I am touching this up. The nice thing about fur is that you can use a bigger brush on a lower opacity and get a really cool look around it. I'm not doing it at the moment because I haven't finalized where she's going to be placed yet, but you kind of get the idea. Okay, basics are done. So now and I already know I'm turning this into a book cover. I don't necessarily want my queen right in the middle of the snow and ice, and the picture was actually the word I was looking for. That was really hard. I actually want her more along the lines of standing over here because it's going to make my life a heck of a lot easier later. However, I really like the shadow that my puppy is casting, so I'm just going to kind of play just a little bit here, and I'm going to go ahead and lasso that. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to move it over to where my Snow Queen is, and look at that. It almost kind of looks like it could potentially be part of her shadow that I will then later build out. Oh, that's so adorable, Caitlin says about my puppy dogs. Yeah, they're sweet. So what I'm going to be doing now is putting a layer mask over the dog that I just copied. I'm going to grab my brush on black. I'm going to go nice and big. And I'm just going to erase the puppy feet because we don't need my baby in there. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on and off to make sure I don't have any weird lines. And I think I should be good, mainly because this is snow and it's white and it's not a big deal because you can't see it because it's all white. So I am then going to go to my bottom layer, which is my snow, and I'm going to grab, yes, I do want that raster size, thank you. I'm going to grab my clone tool because I now have to get rid of my puppy dog in this image. So I am going to raise up my opacity to 100%, and I am just going to start removing Jada from this image. And because it's snow, because it's white, because it doesn't have a lot of texture right here, it is incredibly easy. However, do not let this fool you because the clone tool only works that well when it's a solid background like that white snow. This would not work like that in the grass. I promise you, it would be a nightmare. So the next thing I need to do is go ahead and refine my Snow Queen because this is where she's going to be placed. I will then work on that, well, I might save the shadow. We'll come back to the shadow, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to refine my Snow Queen. I'm going to make sure she really fits in with this background in this image. And then we are going to completely winterize this image. We're going to add some icicles up in the trees. We're going to do all sorts of fun things. But step next, whatever number that is, whatever number I'm on, I need to go ahead and make sure she really fits here. So I'm going to go back up to my layer with my Snow Queen on it, and I'm going to click on that layer mask. I'm going to grab my brush and bring down my brush size, and I am going to go ahead and just kind of blend her in a little bit. I am on 100% opacity right now, but I will be lowering that at some point. I'm just kind of going in and tweaking the fringe on that fur because if you notice, it's got a little bit of a dark look around it. I don't want it dark in all of the areas. That would not be good. So if it's up here around her shoulders, there's dark in the background. Cool, awesome. If it's dark down here in the snow part, that's a little bit noticeable. So we're just going to go in and we're going to remove just some of that dark halo so that it blends just a little bit. Okay. And again, I'm not super worried about things down lower. Oops, I went the wrong way. About things down lower because I am going to be adding in some haze. I'm going to be adding in some fog. I'm going to be adding in some snowy tones. And it's going to be really cool looking. So I'm not super worried about what I'm doing here. Now, the grass needs to go. So at this point, I'm going to lower my opacity, and I'm just going to start tapping this out because it kind of starts to look like the snow is covering up the image. Now, the thing is, this looks a little weird, and this will continue to look a little weird, but I am going to be adding in that fog and that haze, and that, my friends, is going to help. However, it is green. We don't like green. You need to fix the green. So I'm going to add a layer real quick. And I should be labeling that, but I didn't. I will fix that momentarily. And I'm going to grab my brush. I'm going to make sure I'm on black. I could actually use white as well. Oops, I'm going to raise my opacity up to 100. And I'm just going to start tapping over where this grass is. And I know now it looks weird, but we're going to change the blend mode. So I'm going to bring that down to hue. That just made the color go away. So it kind of acts like black and white. And so unless you look really closely, you can't tell that there are lines there. And once I add that haze, that fog in, you're not going to be able to see it at all. So I'm happy with this for the moment. But I am noticing a little bit of green. So let me just come in here and take away the green color through the skirt. There we go. Sweet. Yep, that's what happens. We can't talk. Well, let me pull that back. Let me know, what do you guys think? Are you liking this so far? We do have to work on the shadow, and we definitely have to work on our color toning, which I'm really excited about. We're actually going to jump in right now and do that. So I'm going to grab a layer. I'm going to go down to new fill layer, solid color. We're going to call this blue because we're going to work on our labeling skills today. I'm going to grab a dark blue color. And I'm going to change my blend mode to color. And now everything's incredibly blue. We don't want it incredibly blue, but we do want a bluish hue to it. So we're just going to keep adjusting until we're happy. And for right now, I like it. I like it, and I can work with that. This I'm going to label shoes, just so I know what that is. There we go. Okay, so we're starting to get cool coloring. I like this. We're going to play with this. The next step is going to be, let me see, what do I want to do next? I want to do some of Caitlin's absolute favorite. We're going to dodge and burn. Fierce is the word. Yeah, she does look fierce, doesn't she? But wait, because it gets even better. I don't even know where I was going with that. Dodge and burn. Yes, dodge and burn. Sometimes I read comments from people who are hanging out with us, and I forget what I'm doing. Nope. I was trying to combine words there. Burn. There we go. That's how we spell that. So we're going to add a layer here. Gray down to soft light and fill with that neutral 50%. I'm going to grab my burn tool. And we're going to start burning this baby. So I definitely want some dark tones in that background. We're going to add in some shadows. We're going to make this look really fierce, as Caitlin said. And I'm just going to start pulling in the dark colors. Oh, I love this. And I'm just going to tap in where I want some darkness in this. And this is actually going to end up looking fairly painterly when we're done with all of this. And I am just tapping in where I want it. I'm actually going to come back in and I'm going to do more burning, because with something like this, I am actually going to want a lot of burn because it looks really cool. And I love manipulating my light, also using words that are proper English. It's a hard thing sometimes. Okay, I'm going to pretend I'm done for the moment, because before I go in and do anything else, as I'm still tapping in my burn, before I do anything else, I'm going to show you something really cool. I'm going to be adding in icicles. So I need to go down under my blue layer, and these are icicle overlays that I actually have available in my shop. So for those of you photographers who are inevitably going to ask me, where did you get the icicles? They're in my shop. You can get them. And check that out. Here's my icicle. It's a real live, genuine icicle. I'm going to screen that. And there it is. And I'm going to reduce my size. Now remember, we want realistic looking icicles hanging off of our trees in the background. So we want to make sure it's size appropriate. And you know, with icicles, they have different levels of how big and how small they are. Super late. I'll have to watch this catch up later. Hey, Tiff, thanks for joining. Feel free to just kind of hang out with us and join along. Oh, I see we have more people joining us. I cannot tell who you are unless you go ahead and comment. So comment, let me know who you are. If you are a photographer, let me know what you photograph. If you are an author, let me know what you write. And if you happen to be one of my book fan friends, go ahead and let me know who you are, where you're from, and what your favorite type of book is. So I have my icicle here. I'm going to put a layer mask over that. And I'm going to grab my brush on black, and I'm going to paint away where it is on the brush. Now, this is really, really stark. And this is really noticeable. So I'm going to reduce my opacity until it's kind of realistic looking. Now, check that out. That's pretty cool, right? So now we're going to do this a whole bunch of times. And I have a number of different icicles that I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to pull a bunch of different things, pop them in there. We're going to screen that. And we're going to make it smaller. Now the nice thing is some of these are individual, some of these are in groups. So it makes life a little bit easier for me if I use the group ones. Oops, on the wrong setting there. There we go. So let's pull this and pop that right there. I'm going to add my layer mask. I'm going to zoom back in. I am doing this as I'm adding these icicles because this is going to take a minute to add these icicles. I want you guys to go ahead and start thinking of potential titles for this book cover that we are turning this into. You can give me book titles and taglines and write-ups, so anything that you can think of, go ahead and start popping those in those comments, and we're going to take a look at those when we get to that point. And right now I'm just erasing anything that I do not want on this branch, so I'm just following the lines of the branch, and I actually went a little bit too far down here, so we need to add that in. And add that in right there. And then we're going to reduce our opacity. There we go. And just to whoop, that was more than I meant to do. Let me go back here. Okay, whatever. I am just adding in a little bit, taking out a little bit, just to kind of give it a real look to it. On a low opacity brush, we're just adding in just a little bit of an overlay on that ice. And let me zoom back out. Haha, look at that, guys. Look at that. So let's see, what else do I want to do? Add in one or two over here. Make it small. Now the cool thing for you Photoshoppers is if you put something on your image with a black background and you change the blend mode to screen, it's going to get rid of all the black for you. You don't even have to cut the thing out. It's fantastic. So then I'm going to go ahead and put my layer mask on there. I'm going to grab my brush on black and bring up my opacity. And then reduce my opacity. There we go. And then I'm going to reduce the opacity on the overall branch. What do you guys think? Are you liking this so far? Pretty cool, right? Now, let me see. What do I want to do? I do have something cool. I don't know how this is going to work. We're going to find out together how I feel about this. Now, what I'm going to do, this is going to look a little weird. Just bear with me for a second. I am pulling in an ice overlay that, yes, I do have available in my shop. And And look how bumpy and interesting that looks. I'm going to zoom this down. And I'm just going to see if this is going to do what I think it might do. I'm going to change this just a little bit. I almost think I'll make it larger. The nice thing about the ice overlays is you can manipulate them in so very many ways. Now what I'm doing here, I'm going to change the blend mode. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah. Okay. So watch this. I'm just going to put a layer mask over that. I'm going to click Command I to invert it. I'm going to grab my brush, and then on a lower opacity, I'm just going to add some ice to this tree. It's going to start to look a little frosty, a little icy. And this is something I can do over all of these trees if I want. I'm going to add some ice tones to some of these trees. So we're going to go ahead and change that just like that. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. And I'm not adding it to all of it. If I were actually designing this as a book cover, I would go very, very intense, add in a lot of icicles in the background, add some ice on the trees. I would do all sorts of fun things. But because I'm trying to not take 10 hours to do a book cover live on air, we're just going to give you a little sample of that. And I'm going to go ahead and hit my my layer mask, and I'm going to invert it. I'm going to change my blend mode to, what did I use? Soft light. And then I am going to click on that layer mask with a white brush on a low opacity, and I'm just going to start icing up my trees. Yes, oh yes, I am. And not everywhere, because let's be real, this ice would probably not encase the entire tree, but it would touch parts of it. So I am just kind of adding some ice there. I actually may go in and add some dodging to that. Wow, that was hard. So let me add a layer. This is Caitlin's favorite part. We're going to call this Tree Shine. And I'm going to put gray for my color, go down to soft light, and then fill with that 50% gray. I'm going to grab my dodge tool. Caitlin, give me a shout out for the dodge tool. I know it's not as cool as the burn tool, but I know you love it. And I'm going to go in and I'm just going to add some highlights. And actually, I should probably zoom in for this. Because with this ice, as I am icing my tree, gosh, I don't know where I am right now. Hang on. Edge of tree. There, that's what I was looking for. Gosh, that was hard. I'm going to go in and I am going to add some highlights to some of this ice. And I am just going to go along with the natural look of the tree and the ice. And I'm going to make it really, really shiny and icy looking. And I know you can't super tell right now. You can kind of see where I'm doing the shine. But if I bring it up a little bit, I can actually make it really shiny. And I can actually go right along the actual tree branches because some of them are missing bark. And I could just turn that into shine, baby. Yes, I can. So we're gonna make this really shiny. And again, if this were a legit book cover, this would be hours of my life going in here and making it shiny and making it look all spectacular. And I'm not doing that now because that's crazy to do that on a live broadcast for as long as I would need to do it to make it look really cool. So that is something that would be cool for later, but not now. So there you go. I'm going to turn that on and off. You can kind of see where that shine is. I can actually duplicate it, make it even shinier. Ooh. Everybody do the fireworks ooh and ah in my chat box here. Caitlin says, I do love dodge and burn. Also, shout out for the icicles. Woohoo. All right, close enough. Now here's where some of the fun comes in, guys, because I am about to show you a little bit of a magic trick. And I'm really excited for this one because this is going to be snow. And I am not just using an overlay. Overlays are cool. Lots of people have overlays. I am going to be using a snow brush. So I added a new layer so that I can turn it on and off if I need to. And I'm just coming through my brushes to grab my beautiful snow brush. Now I do use different layers for different levels of snow. So watch this. Oops, my brush got changed. Hang on. That's weird. Sorry, guys. Let me pull my opacity up. And let me make sure I'm on the right brush. Yep, because I'm not. Okay, let me scroll down and grab my snow brush. Here we go. I'm going to make sure that's on white. And I'm just going to start painting in the snow. Look how cool that is. This is just a particle brush. I do sell this in my shop for those of you photographers who are like, give me. It is over there in the shop. And I'm just going to start painting on the snow. And snow goes over top of the model. Snow goes in the background. Snow goes everywhere. It's a beautiful thing. We can actually put a layer mask on this later and paint it off of her skin in certain areas if we don't like where it is. So right now I'm just doing my base level snow. And I can actually drag this across and get a line of snow, or I can just kind of tap it in where I want it. And it comes up with several little pieces of snow. And that is my base. I'm going to leave that the way it is. I'm going to add another layer, and now I'm going to start adding in bigger snow. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to bring up the size of my brush. And look how it's filling in some bigger chunks. Now this snow is going to be closer to the viewer's eye. Because remember, when we are dealing with images, we want to make sure we're dealing with perspective. And so closer is going to be blurrier and bigger. On the same level is going to be more clear. And far away is going to be blurry but tiny. So look at that. We've added in some snow. I now want to add another layer. And we're going to call this even bigger snow. And I'm going to raise up the size of my brush again. And now we're going to get some fairly decent sized chunks of snow. And we don't want a ton of these because that will take up a lot of our image. And ooh, I don't like that one there. So when I'm done, I'm going to actually go in with a layer mask. And I'm going to brush that off. But I don't want to change my brush yet, so we're going to have to come back to that. I'm just going to put that there so it reminds me. Oh, that was hard. Sorry. One more layer of really big snow, and then I'm going to get some tiny snow in there. I'm going to call this biggest snow, or something really strange. That's okay, too. I'm going to make this baby bigger. And just a couple of these big chunks of snow. I didn't like that one. I didn't like that one either. We're going to call it a day. Okay, now I don't like how bright these ones in the front are, so I'm going to lower the opacity a bit. There we go, that's better. And now I'm going to change my brush size to my soft brush, which for those of you using Photoshop, it's usually the very first brush. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get rid of this, because I don't like that one near her face. My brush was on the wrong thing. There we go. And even this one, I want to lower the opacity of that so it's not quite so stark. And now I want to add in just some little snow in the back. Let's call this little snow. And I'm going to make my brush back to my snow brush, my particle brush. And we're going to make it super small. And we're just going to add in a heck of a lot of mini snow in the background. And as I'm adding in this mini snow in the background, I'm going to be reducing that opacity so it's not quite so bright. But I am putting that everywhere. Look how cool this looks so far. Are we thinking of titles for a fake book cover? Because we're getting to the point where we're going to be talking about that. Okay. So I'm going to grab some water real quick. The next thing I need to do is deal with my shadow. So I'm going to come down in my layers. I'm going to come down to right about there, actually. Right there. And I'm going to grab my color picker, and I'm going to tap on that shadow. Now I want my shadow to be bigger. I want it to be more dramatic. So I'm going to add in a layer. And I'm going to grab my brush. I'm going to take it off of my snow brush because I certainly would not want it snowed in. And we're going to extend this. Let's see. Nope, don't like how that played out. So, let me just check this. There we go. So this is what I want for my shadow. I am going to try something, and I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to transform it and drag it out. And I'm actually going to make it wider too. And let's just see what happens because Photoshop's not actually letting me see what I'm doing. Whoops. Sometimes it ends up on the wrong setting. And once again, Photoshop does not like me today because I am live broadcasting. Now, when I did that, you can see up here, we have some weird lines because it goes into my shadows. So I'm just going to take my black brush and I'm going to paint that off. And I'm just going to kind of go around this and take care of that. Caitlin says I'm terrible at book titles. Yeah, I know. We've been down that road together, girl. All right. So let's see. Next thing I want to do is ground this a little bit. So I'm going to take this up to the top, and I am going to look for my textures. I'm going to add a texture into this. I'm getting the spinning wheel of death here on my computer. There we go. It wants to be friends again. I'm going to grab my favorite texture. I'm going to slowly grab my favorite texture. And I'm going to wait for it to pop up. And I'm going to drag and drop right on top of my image. It's going to look weird for just a second as it slowly loads. And I'm going to extend it to the length of my image. And I'm going to go change my blend mode. Now, usually I don't use this as a blend mode. This is not usually something I recommend. However, I found a little secret about this, and I love using the difference blend mode on this, and it's going to look really weird. I see how weird that looks. Now I'm going to back up my opacity like a lot. Oh, and look how ridiculously cool that just turned out to be. I love that. So now I need to go ahead and, do I want to lower that a little bit? I might lower that just a touch. Yeah, I'm going to lower that just a touch, and then I'm going to tap off. So I'm going to grab a layer mask and my black brush on a low opacity, and there are certain areas I just want to take it off because it went too dark on me. But I really love the texture look it gives and how it blends in that model. Good heavens, my phone was going off like crazy today. Lots of people wanting to talk to me. Let me know, do you guys get a ton of texts during the day while you guys are doing things? Let me know in that chat box. Okay, cool. So I tapped off where I don't want it. The next thing I want to do is add in more burning, because that is my favorite thing to do, dodge and burn. And we want soft lights and fill with neutral. I'm going to grab my burn tool. I'm going to make it really big, and I'm going to go around my edge. And I'm just going to start pulling things in. That was weird. That was incredibly weird. I don't know what just happened. Hang tight. Boom. All right, let me try that again. We're going to go around the edge, down towards the bottom here, up around, but not all of it, because we don't like to do all of it. But we do like to draw the eye where we want it. So we always make sure that the brightest part of whatever we're doing is going to be our model, where we want to see the eye go first. So I'm going to add in some darkness around her. Look how cool this is. Caitlin says she's constantly texting her on Instagram. Yes, girl. Instagram for the win. And I can say that while I'm here on Facebook Live because Facebook owns Instagram. And they're best friends, so it's all good. So I am just kind of tapping over some of these shadows, some of these marks. Ugh, I love this. Are you guys loving this? I'm totally loving this. And look how cool the ice on the tree looks. I would totally go in and make that darker. I wonder, where is my layer? Tree shine. I think I want to pull this up just a little bit. Ah, yes. Love this. Love this. Okay. I think I want a little more snow over her dress. So hang tight while I grab just a little extra snow. Gonna add another layer. We always work on separate layers because then we can change the opacity without affecting the rest of it. And I'm going to go down to my snow brush. Well, my particle brush. I call it all sorts of things. It's technically a particle brush, but I call it a snow brush or a dust brush or all sorts of fun things. Oops, my opacity is low. No wonder I can't see it. I just want bigger snow down here. This is not what I want. Okay, back. Don't know what just happened there. Back. And one more step back. Thank you. Oh, one more? Okay, one more. There we go. Nope, don't like that there. Yes, okay. Cool. Cool, cool. Alrighty. I am happy with that. I do like that. I think that's pretty cool looking. What do I want to do? I could go in and use my curves layer and maybe just tweak my coloring a little bit. I don't think I'm going to like it, but I am going to try it because I want to see what happens. So I'm going to go down to my blue channel and curves, and I'm going to add some blue tones to this. And like I thought, whoa, more than I thought it would be because Facebook didn't want to, or Facebook, because Facebook and Photoshop did not want to cooperate. Let me add some yellow tones and see if I like that, and I don't. Negative. Okay, we're going to leave it alone because I actually like where it is, that dark navy coloring. I feel like I'm forgetting something that I wanted to do, and I don't know what it was. Oh well. It's fine. It works. I am going to go ahead and save this baby. And I'm going to save it first in a form where I can just easily pop it over to our book cover. And then I'm going to actually save it as my PSD file. So if it wants to play nice, it is going to go ahead and merge those layers as it is saving. And I'm just pausing to see how big this file is going to be because it's probably going to be really big at this point. Let's just bring it down. It's all good. Yeah, that's workable for a book cover. I would never save that and give that size to someone who's going to print this, or if I were going to print it at one of my labs. However, for the purpose of... Oh, I know exactly what I was going to do that I didn't do. Oh, thank goodness I figured that one out. As I told you, we were going to be adding some fog and some haze, and I totally forgot. So let me do that real fast, and then we'll save it again. So let's call this haze. I'm going to take my brush on a very low opacity, and I'm going to make sure I actually have the right brush before because I'm still on my snow brush. So I'm going to go back up to the first brush in the collection. This is that big soft brush. And I'm going to start tapping in some haze. And it's going to take a minute because Photoshop does not like me. Here we go. Now we're talking. So we're adding in some haze, and we're putting it in different locations. I am going to get in here. I'm going to really play on that right there. And then I'm going to add another layer in because we want some haze over on the embankment. So we're just going to tap that in. I'm going to pause for a second to see how that works before I go any further. Usually when I am doing this on Photoshop and I'm not live broadcasting, I can see it immediately. However, it doesn't want to play nice today. See? And so this is just kind of like fog, kind of like haze. And this looks really cool when you don't have complete snow at the bottom, because you can kind of see some of the grass through it, or the leaves, the trees, and it's really cool looking. And we're just going to keep tapping, because at some point it's going to play nice with us. So I'm just going to pause for a second while it is going to catch up for me. And still pausing because it hasn't caught up yet. Because it's mad because I am live broadcasting while I am using Photoshop. And sometimes it just gets a little on the upset side. Come on now, play nice. Just waiting for it to play nice, that's all. Oh, because my brush got changed. No wonder it wasn't playing nice. Every once in a while I change a setting without realizing it, and that makes life fun. And look how we're just kind of giving it this look, so it's kind of like billowing fog. Yes, so much yes. And I'm just taking away some of the shadow, but not all of it. And we're just adding in some tones here. It's pretty cool looking. Give me a shout out. Do you like this? Are you feeling this? Are you loving this? There we go. Better. Okay, let's take 2. We're going to save this as a JPEG. And we're going to replace it because that's okay. I do not know if you can see the progress bar here because I can't see the screen while I'm editing. So you can, it's just taking a second. I'm going to click the OK button. The OK button. There we go. And down at the bottom you can see it's at 10% saved. So we're just giving this a second. As it's saving, I'm going to go ahead and save the PSD file as soon as it cooperates with me, 99%, and good. So we're going to click the save button so it saves all of my uncompressed PSD files, and we're going to jump over to a book cover layout, which I actually need to pull back on. There we go. So this is from one of our other episodes of this show. I'm going to go ahead and pull our image. Let me see, I need to find that. So here we go. I've got my main image. I'm going to drag and drop this in here. And now I'm just going to size it up. Now, because I knew I was doing this, I designed this specifically so that I could pop it in here and make it look sense. Nope, words aren't working. Make it look right. It's going to look right. So that way I did not have to extend the background. I'm just going to get rid of that. There we go. Okay. Hallelujah. We're moving on with life. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is definitely add in some dodging and burning. Those blue lines are going to be there to guide us for the spine, but that is not something that would stay there, obviously. I'm going to burn this with my burn tool, and I want to kind of add in some texture where the book is going to be. So you notice how we've got some darkness on the side here? It would not be on this side of the front of the book cover. So we definitely have to add that in there. And we want to do that on the back too, so that it looks even. So while you are seeing this in a format that lets you see the entire wraparound cover, it is not letting you see where those lines would be. So where the blue line is, that is where your book ends. You don't get to see the rest of it. And so you want to make sure that it makes sense and carries out throughout the entire book cover. So now watch this. I'm going to turn this on and off. You're going to be able to see the difference. So while it looks kind of weird that we have some random darkness here on the full image, it makes perfect sense realizing it's going to be creased right there and you're not going to be able to see the rest of it. So there we go. We've got that, and we are going to start off by designing our title. So if you've got a fake title, go ahead and let me know what we should name this baby. And I think we're going to go with something about ice and crowns. Oh, that could work. That actually could work. I wasn't going there, but that could work. So let's try ice. And I'm going to make this bigger. And we're going to change that font. Now, as I always say every single week, if I were actually doing this as a real book cover for a real client, I would be taking the time to either find the perfect font or create the perfect font. But I do not create fonts while I am live on air because that takes time and effort, and it doesn't need to be for something like what I'm doing right here. That actually works for me, and I'm going to go into layer styles and bring up my blending options. And I do not know if you can see this panel. I'm not sure if you can see this or not. But this is what we're working with. I'm going to contour this. And let's see. Ooh. And so as I'm contouring this, I'm just kind of adding some beveling and embossing, really. Let's see. I think I might almost want to do an outer glow and come up with like this icy color. I'm not sure if this is going to work the way it's either going to look really cool or it's not. Let's see. Boom. Oh, hello. That was a bit more than I wanted, or a lot more than I wanted. So let me just turn that on and off real quick. Yeah, it's kind of got this little glowy thing going on here. I think it's kind of interesting. I might be able to live with that. Let me see. Ice. Give me a shout out. Do you like this? Ice. And no. And I'm going to bring this up here and I'm going to change the font. Because that's how we roll around here. We change up the fonts. Where it's cold. Because it's really cold here right now. Like, I know some of you are still in the 90-degree weather, but I am definitely sitting here in long sleeves, in pants, freezing, and hating the fact that I live in Pennsylvania, aka the Arctic North. Let me know, are you guys cold? Or are you warm? And if you are warm, do you have an extra room in your house? Because I might be coming to live with you. We'll play with that in a minute. Ice and crowns. Oh, look how cool that is with that in the background. We're going to play with this and change that font up and then change the layer style on the font. And let's see. Boo. Come on, guys, help a girl out with the fonts. Fonts are my least favorite part of doing these live broadcasts because I can never find the ones that I want. They never look the way that I want them to, and I would always create my own. If I can't find something I like, I would create my own, but I really need to just sit down and go through some of these font sites and get some good fonts, because I clearly don't have ones that make me happy when I'm too, oh, look how ridiculously cool that looks, you guys. Now, I don't like how it played out on the word and, so I'm going to bring up my panel, and I'm going to go in, and I'm going to remove the outer glow. Yes, I am. Actually, that's not bad. Let me go up to my bevel and embossing channel, and let me just, it's actually probably not the one I wanted to change. There we go. There. Okay. Well, I'm feeling that. Now I don't know if I like the word ice. I like the font for crowns, right? It's pretty. Maybe I'll have to change. Let me see it. Let me see. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to move it over here real quick. And I'm going to write the word ice. Yeah, I think I'm feeling that more. Let me pull ice up here, and let me get rid of the other ice. And when I say get rid of, I just mean turn off. There we go. And then I'm going to find my ice again. I'm going to make the word bigger, because bigger is fun. Interesting. Do we like this? What do you think? Maybe I should change the word and to an actual and sign. Let's find out. Okay, I can run with that, but I'm not liking it just the way it is right now. So let me go ahead and grab my brush. I'm going to add a layer. And I'm going to scroll down because I recently made some fun little brushes and I'm going to play with them. So let me see. What do I want? I want that one. That one might look cool. Oh, yes, that might look cool. Let's see. No, with the opacity. Bring up my opacity. Pull that in there. Let me grab my effects. Pro tip for you photographers, if you just hold down the option key and click on the effects and drag and drop, it looks really cool and it brings it in. And actually, I think I almost want that glow. So let me do my outer glow and click on that. And I'm going to need to pull this down. And I'm just pulling the size down. I'm going to pull the opacity down. There, so it just glows just a little bit. I think I'm liking this. What do you guys think? Shout it out. Let me know. You like that font? Yep. So let me see. I can potentially add some more swirls up here. I don't know if I want to. Do I want to? Do you like that? I don't know if I like that. I'm conflicted. Let me look at my brushes. Maybe I have something else that'll fit. Oh, and it could potentially be that. Let's find out. We're just going to add a new layer. Not a fill layer, just a layer. And there I go, not labeling my things again. And I'm going to drag and drop my effects. And I think I can run with that. However, I do need to bring back that glow. So let me reduce my opacity just a touch and the spread just a touch. Actually bring up my opacity. There we go. A little icy looking. Yeah, I can live with that. Okay, Cool. Now watch this. This is going to get fun. I'm going to go back up to the top of this, and I'm going to add a new layer. And again, I should be labeling these, but I'm not. That's okay. I'm going to go down in my brushes because I want one of my flare brushes, and I think it's this one. Let's try this one. And I'm going to make it big. And boom. Check that out. Now the question is, do I actually want it on that word? Do I want it here? Do I want it there? Let me see. Sometimes you just have to play with your flares to decide where it's going to look best. I'm just moving it around. Oh, my hands are freezing. Wow. I think I like it best on crowns, but the question is where. It might go right there. Yes, in fact, it might go right there. Amazing. Would love to see if or how you do the barcode. Oh, Joanne. Okay, so for the barcode, you would actually have to get the barcode. So you would have to have your ISBN number, and then you can either get it from the printer. So if you are a self-published person and you are working with a printer, sometimes they will give that to you. Or you can go to a website called, I think it's BookCow. So it's BOOKOW.com, I believe. And you can put in your ISBN number and get a free barcode. At which point you would just take that template for the barcode and pop it in right where the barcode belongs. I did see that Caitlin is saying maybe flip it around. But you do love the swirls. Yes, girl. Let me see. Sorry, I was just checking my comments. So yeah, maybe let me play with flipping that around. So then, I guessed correctly. Yay to me. So if we did want to flip this around, I would simply go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal. And it would do something like that. What do you think, Caitlin? Do you like it? Or do you want something like this, where I duplicate this layer and I go ahead and I flip that? Huh. That's kind of cool looking. What do you think? All right, so let's assume that we're going to run with this for the moment. I'm going to come down here and I am going to type in fake. Oh, no, I'm not. I don't even know what that was. Fake author. Yeah, close enough. And I hate that font, I do believe. So let's take it off of. Yeah, that's close enough. Now, I am not going to leave it on that. There we go. That's better. And at this point, I'm going to layer style that too. I'm going to go down to my blending options. It's popped up as I am doing this because I cannot tell what you can see and what you can't because I am on Photoshop and I'm not actually in your panel. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some bevel and embossing here. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to play with that. Nope, I actually want to bring that back. And let's just play. I am just playing right now. We're just going to find out what's happening to a really interesting little fake author name. Now, something that would be really cool to do for this would be actually to have these things shatter like snow and have snow coming down off of them or falling off of them. I'm not going to do that now because that requires a heck of a lot of work, but just kind of run with it. That would be something that would be really cool to do. Ooh, and I grabbed the wrong tool. And we're just going to give it a little bit of a extra snazzy look there. And we're going to pop that right in there. Whew, my hands are so cold, you guys. It is incredibly cold here, and I am not a fan. So I am going to grab my brushes yet again because I made all these cool swirly things, and I feel like I should just have some fun with those today. Let's see. Let me come right up to my top here. And layer. Interesting. So now I am going to reduce that size. Slowly. Slowly. It gets mad when I use... Nope. It doesn't like me. All right, hang tight. I'm going to have to hit the back button. It's just a little mad at me because, like I said, I am live broadcasting, and it doesn't like when I do Photoshop and live broadcast. Wow, it's angry. So what just happened is it did not quite register that I was not touching the screen, and I did not want it to drag that design everywhere. Angry Photoshop. Easy there. Easy there. Okay, take two. Just pop it there. There we go. And we're going to move this baby up. And then we are going to, let's see, we're going to grab an effect. And not that one. That's not what we want. Photographers, if you don't like something, you can just drag the effect away. It's all good. Okay, let me find an effect that I like. No, forget that. We're gonna start from the top with that one. Layer style, blending options. Bevel and emboss that baby. Contour. Click on the actual panel. And there, voila. Make it very icy looking. Soften that. And I think I'm going to try an outer glow, but just a tiny little touch of that outer glow. So I'm going to grab a bluish color. And let's see. Oops, too much. I'm going to bring it down. And we're going to change up the opacity, change up the noise just a little bit. I'm going to jitter it just a touch. And I'm going to say okay. That looks pretty neat, right? I could if I wanted to. I'm not sure I'm going to like this, but I am going to attempt to flip it vertically. And I'm going to bring it down. Pro tip here for you photographers, if you want to keep it in line with the other one, all you got to do is hold your shift key down and it will move exactly where you had it. And then you just have to match it up. So I could do that and then bring up my author name. And just pull that up. And probably put that over to the side here. And then I would have to reduce the size of that. There we go. And then we would just make sure that was in alignment. That was not in alignment. Putting it in alignment. And then I need a tagline. Guys, give me a tagline. It's not super cold here, but no humidity is nice. Hey, I'm okay with humidity. I like humidity. And Caitlin also likes that one. Okay. So now I need a tagline. And I am terrible at coming up with this on the spot. So let's see if we can figure this out together. Let me see. Something about ice and crowns and queens and fierceness and whatever. I don't know. I'm terrible at taglines live on air. I'm fine with them in person, but you ask me to come up with something live on air and I will just sit here and babble. It's a bad thing. Okay. So let me see. all crowns will melt. I don't know. It's weird. Run with me. It's okay. It's okay. If you got a better one, let me know. And I actually hate that font for it. Like, hate, hate, hate. So, let me get out of here and over to something better. Literally anything will be better right now. Close enough. And I actually want to make that darker. So I just duplicated that and then hit multiply. And you know what would be kind of cool here? I can't do it because of the snow, but it would be kind of cool to have. Oh. Now hold up. This could be actually very interesting. Let me try this. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to bring it up here. I'm going to make this white or like a gray color. Maybe like a gray and almost white. I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to make this a little smaller. It's kind of big compared to her face there. And so Caitlin thinks that it should be something about ice and crowns and queens and awesomeness. That should be the tagline. That actually sounds like it could be a really interesting tagline for a contemporary novel. That's so funny. Okay, so I've got that, and then I'm going to grab my really awesome, really cool, boom, my icicle overlays. And we're going to reduce it. And I'm going to put it on screen. Oh my goodness, you guys. We're going to make this a lot smaller, but I got to zoom in for this. I'm sitting so close to my screen right now. Okay, here we go. And I am actually just going to duplicate that and make it smaller and flip it horizontal. I actually want to rotate this just a little bit. There we go. And then, let's see, I'm going to grab one more. And we're going to screen. And we are going to make it smaller, but we got to drag it to the corners here. And I'm actually going to put it on the S of crowns and see what happens. Are you feeling the icicles coming off of my fonts? Let me know in those comments. We're going to get to the back in just a second. And what I'm going to do is take that little, the design we put at the top of this cover. I'm going to bring it over to the back. I really should have just made it smaller and then reduced the size because this is taking a very long time and I apologize. Okay. And I'm going to have to reduce the opacity. And I'm going to make it smaller. Where do I want this to come off of? We're going to move it up. Yes. Are we feeling it? Loving the icicles on the font. Yes, girl. Okay, let me zoom back out. And I forgot what I was working with, so I can zoom out even more. Ta-da. OMG. Do you guys love this? I'm loving this. Okay. So let me go ahead and grab this little guy. And I'm going to move it over here. And I'm going to make it smaller. And I'm going to put that right about there, except it's not in the center. There we go. I'm going to duplicate that. I am going to transform and flip vertical. I'm going to bring this down to right about there. She will rain with ice in her veins. Now that would have been a good tagline. And we're going to put it right in here. She will rain, and I'm going to change that just a little bit. She will rain with ice in her veins. And I actually want to make this baby bigger. So I'm going to have to move my swirls. I'm going to put that there. We're going to drag this down a touch. Boom. Now check that out. You're loving it too. That's right. Okay. So at this point, we're going to say words, words, words. More words because I am not writing a thing for it. Well, you would think by now I would be smart enough to have this prepared, but I haven't been. Okay. Here we go. I'm just going to blame it on the cold because I am freezing. I am so cold right now. I can't even tell you guys. And if this were to go over the white, I would be changing colors. I'm actually going to go ahead and add a layer style and go to drop shadow. And I am going to just make this a little bit easier to read. And sometimes you just have to play with it to make it right the way you need it to be. Close enough. So at this point, we're going to copy and paste that and drag that down here. And this is going to be, oops. Sometimes the text tool doesn't want to cooperate. This is going to be a really great quote from an author who is supportive. Author friend, title of book. And this would change over to our other color font. And we don't like the effects, so that needs to go. And that will live right here. And at this point, we could add, let me see what I want. I think I want, ooh, which one was that? I don't know where that came from. Did I guess the right one? Yes, I did. I'm going to duplicate this and bring it down. And I am going to, oh no, I'm not. Nope. I'm going to grab my paint tool. I'm going to add a layer. I am going to make this small. Oops. I tapped it as I was changing my size there. Oh my goodness, what is happening? There. And then we would add some more stuff to the background. You get the idea. We'd have some more icicles and things like that. But overall, there you go. This is our Ice and Crowns cover that we made in an hour and 21 minutes. How cool is that? I'm going to click the save button. And it is your favorite synopsis. Yes, I know you love my words. It's always fun, right? So there you go. Check that out. Do you guys love this? I'm thinking I like this. I think it's pretty cool. All right, so let's bounce back over and talk about me. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out. We do this every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We create a live composite fine art image and then turn it into a book cover with audience participation and help. So I absolutely love seeing you guys. Thanks so much for showing up on a consistent basis. I really appreciate you being here. Let's talk about how we can connect. So just a reminder, I am KM Robinson. I am a professional photographer, a designer, and a social media marketing strategist, which means I do photography. I do design work like book covers and websites and graphic design, and I teach authors and photographers and entrepreneurs how to use social media to market their businesses. And I do that through KM Robinson Photography. So if you're an photographer, you can hang out with me here at KM Robinson Photography and over at kmrobinsonphotography.com, where I am teaching you how to market your photography business and really grow your brand and take care of your clients and potential new clients. We talk about the social media marketing algorithms and how to work within those to make sure your posts are not being bogged down. That was really hard. And we talk about things like Photoshop and how to bump up your skill level in Photoshop and in marketing and in branding and in designing and in photography in general. So I would love to have you guys hang out with me here. If you are an author, join me at readingtransforms.com, where I teach authors how to market their books. We talk about the social media marketing algorithms and how to avoid them, how to work with them. We talk about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Periscope, Pinterest, all that stuff. It's really, really great. And we do all sorts of fun things with authors just like you who are willing to help each other to learn and grow and do some really cool things in the book industry. And I am also an author. I am the author of the Golden Trilogy and the Jaded Duology, which is Golden is my young adult retelling of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Jaded is my YA dystopian, and I might have some special surprises coming out really, really soon. In fact, the sequel to Golden is coming out next month, in just a few days. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Just under a month now, so it's going to be good. I do have some really cool things going on in all of my brands, so make sure you check that out. I'm not going to take the time to go through it right now, but I do have some big things releasing today on Reading Transforms, so if you're not on Reading Transforms, go find out. And if you are a book lover, the thing I'm teaching today on Reading Transforms actually results in books for you, free books, as part of a group giveaway. In fact, you can get your hands on copies of my books right now for free. Shh, don't tell too many people, but it is out there today, so go check out what I'm doing on Reading Transforms. Yeah, Caitlin says, thank you for the awesomeness. Yes, girl. I am glad that you show up every single week, just about every single week. I know sometimes you have work, but you are fantastic, and I love seeing you and hanging out with you. And guys, come hang out with us. It's fun. Every single week, we are here on Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, creating new fabulous fine art composite images and book covers. If you have an idea, know what you want to see more of, because I am here to create really cool things for you guys. Retelling, what do you want to see? Give me ideas, give me suggestions, and I will happily create those babies for you. I'm KM Robinson, social media marketing strategist here at KM Robinson Photography and over at Reading Transforms, and photographer here at KM Robinson Photography, and author over at KM Robinson Books. Thanks so much for joining me. I will see you next time. Have a great day and stay inspired.